Now, I feel like this story needed to be talked about, and as many of you know, that Twitch has had a massive moderation issue, with many urging the platform to gut out the current team and replace them, as constantly allowing their bias to win over conversation. And I'm aware that nothing can be perfect, but to me, this is such a cut and dry case, and maybe fix the bleeding for the current ad budgets that are plaguing the platform. Now, I have seen a bunch of reports from many streamers alike speaking about the decrease in ad payments even below the January and February slumps, which is a regular occurrence in business. Now, as companies usually ramp up for Christmas, they then spend significantly less in the following months. But usually by now, as we're in May, would have went away and stabilized, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And though I wasn't creating content at the time of November of last year, it was believed that there was an adpocalypse brewing, with many streamers alike, starting with a user known as the Stock Guy, starting the conversation as we...
My Twitch dashboard for the first time yesterday, my advertising revenue is down 95%. Let me show you. I'm going to show you because I don't give a shit. I'm fucking transparent. Let me show you guys something. Okay? I average about $100 to $200 a day in ad revenue, right? 5 days a week. You're talking about $600-700 a week. You're talking about $2,800 a month, you know, $3,000 a month. I make about $8,000 a month on average, and sometimes 9, right? So it's about 40% of my, sometimes 50% of my income. I'm averaging $15 fucking dollars in ad revenue. I'm disabling.
That is crazy that he is only averaging $15. Well, then another streamer known as Lacey came out and also talked about his experience with his ad payments.
My ad revenue went from $10,000 plus at some points per day to now like $2,000 a day.
Which, don't get me wrong, that is a lot of money. $2,000 a day is a lot of money. But the percentage of the drop is what really keeps me to believe that there is a drop in advertisement on.
From someone who was making upwards of 5 figures a day, now only making $2,000 a day off ad revenue, something's wrong. Something's going on where my ad revenue is not correct and it's not what it should be. If I want to make $2,000 a day, I'll go be a fucking mailman, okay? So Twitch, if you don't fix my ad revenue and put it back to normal, I'm not going to be streaming on the platform.
Now, it also continued with another user known as IrisSiri129, who also had issues with their ads.
So it's starting from 16th of October, like suddenly the audience are like, okay, no more sexy streamers. We cut them off like that.
And many believe this happened because of comments made by the Twitch-protected Hassan the Smallhead Abby, which led to the removal of ads on his channel and caused a decline overall. Well, it's seeming that the situation is getting worse, with the streamer known as Canute coming out a couple days ago mentioning that ads are down by 60% from what he can tell, and even added that he asked fellow streamer Mizkif if he was also experiencing this, and he agreed.
This is how the Twitch ad revenue has gone. Ad revenue is an all-time low. And not down to 0. This is a little bit overdone, of course. Take it easy. This is a little bit over. It's not from. It isn't cut down to 10%, but it is down. I talked to Mizkif about it yesterday as well, and he said he looked at his when he saw his dashboard, the ad revenue compared to before, it's so shit. But that's good that we have Kick as well, that we can.
Now, this clip did end up doing the rounds on social media, and I did want to wait and gauge where other streamers were on this topic. And since then, it's gotten multiple streamers, including Tectone and Asmongold, who showed off how much they are truly making from ads.
We have made $14,000 this month. However, I'm a massive outlier because Twitch said you don't get ad revenue because you called Frogan fat. So I'm missing out on about 21 days of potential ad revenue, which
It is
sucks
crazy that he
ass.
only got a 3-day ban, but
Yeah.
they took away that
They said,
much
oh,
time.
you called Frogan fat, so you get no money off our fucking ads, which is great. And then, you know, Frogan can insult our soldiers, and Hassan can wish death upon people, and Hassan can call people pedophiles, and Hassan can deny rapes, and Hassan this, and Hassan that, and Denims can call me a rapist, and Denims can call me ugly, and Denims can call me an ogre, and nothing will ever happen to the special princesses. Fuck him. Yo, Denims, box me. Yo, he said it's not down horrendously, but down enough to impact his life. So
Now,
yesterday,
if I had to take a wild guess at what may have caused this rapid, and I use rapid in terms of business, which usually works in 3 to 6 month increment cycles, they are comments made on Hassan's stream, which seem to go unchecked by moderation and are often seen joining into the conversation and have seen to lean heavily far left. Now, these clips do the rounds on social media, garnering millions of views in the very negative press. Now, after the past couple days, I see the situation becoming dire for Twitch, as Hassan is now being openly blamed by the ADL on CNN for the unfortunate killing of 2 Israeli diplomats in D.C. just a couple days ago.
But all of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hassan Piker,
Not a
who
gamer.
regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state. Like, extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed. This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
Now, the shooter is also believed to have been influenced to take the heinous actions that he did to help the good fight for the Palestinians. Personally, I don't believe that the shooter was directly influenced by Hassan, but due to the nature of his content and those he chooses to platform like Bad and Banada and Mike from PA, I can see it as a possibility in the future. Now, I do take offense to them calling him a gamer. It got to me because as a fellow gamer, we don't claim that man. Maybe just call him a political Twitch streamer, because I think it's going to bring a negative look to gamers. And I hope that Twitch will finally be forced to take moderation actions against him, if not from Twitch directly, but Amazon forced ban. Due to being called out on live TV, Hassan responded to CNN by thinking about going after them legally for defamation after reacting to that clip. He is now also going and scrubbing his Discord and pausing all invites after his community is coming under increased scrutiny for the way he's covered these major events and causing some to question what we have missed or maybe have been talked about. But luckily, someone did end up grabbing an archive and said they have an account that is just active enough they would need to kick everyone in order to find the account. Now, Hassan has been in a constant crash out ever since the Ethan Klein debate, which he was seen to be dismantled by Ethan Klein, who isn't even a full-time political analyst like Hassan likes to call himself. Being able to witness this level of a crash out from him has been nice after watching the way he went about the last election cycle and continuing into the first couple months of this administration while choosing to die on political hills that are tanking his credibility as a streamer, creator, and political analyst. It's being a change of pace and seeing him on the back foot and destroy the few shreds of credibility he had left with notable news agencies that just a couple months ago would have been on his side, but have since found the error in his ways. Now, if any more information does come about on this adpocalypse or Hassan, I'll be sure to make a follow-up video. Slop on.